So I've been watching the newest trailer for Stray on repeat for the last few days in order to put together a video on all the things you might have missed. First, let's take a look at the environment. In this trailer, we see some new, more open locations, mainly a place called Ant Village, which is built around a huge reservoir. Here's a better view of the village, with all its catwalks and ladders. It's surrounded by piles of trash, but it's still a really cool looking place that I can't wait to explore. In this close-up image, we see a food stand somewhere inside Ant Village with two robots wearing some interesting hats. And maybe this is a vendor we can visit to buy consumable items and upgrades in the game. We don't know how many other large locations like Ant Village there will be, but I'm very curious to see what else Blue 12 has come up with. And how will we move between these areas? That leads me to platforming and traversal. Obviously, playing as a cat means we'll be doing a lot of climbing and jumping between platforms. This mechanic has been featured a lot, but the newest trailer gives us a few more travel options. First, we have these boats, and we know there's some sort of sewer system throughout the city, but the cat will need the help of a friend in order to be able to use it. My best guess is that boats are going to be a way for us to reach different parts of the map that might be too far away to get to just by walking. Maybe an alternative to fast travel. There's also these very convenient buckets. This clip made me laugh a little because it's just such a fun way to get around for a cat, especially in a vertical city with multiple levels. Okay, next up is robots. In the other footage we've seen, the robots seem to be mostly friendly towards the cat, if not just a little skeptical. And this is the first time we see one who's actually scared of him. The robot presses some kind of panic button that sounds an alarm throughout the area. I'm betting this takes place in the beginning of the game, before the locals realize that our cat is actually a friendly face. The cat is most likely mistaken for a Zurk, the small enemies that we've seen chasing after him, which aren't allowed inside the city. And the sign outside Ant Village even reads, "No Zurk Zone." We have a few named characters in these trailers, but I'm going to go into that with more detail in a separate video. So let's switch over to the enemies in the game. Zurks are clearly not liked by the inhabitants of the city, but they don't seem like the most dangerous enemies lurking around. Whenever the cat is spotted by them, a fast-paced chase sequence starts, but with these flying enemies, it seems like we'll have to be a bit more sneaky. Some of these scenes actually do get pretty tense, especially since it seems like we'll have no way of fighting off these drones like we can with the Zurks. The last type of enemy we see is this, and we've seen hints of some kind of organic blobby fungus throughout the trailers, so this must be what's at the heart of it. Or should I say, the eyes. I'm gonna throw one guess out there about this one. This is probably the reason that humans abandoned the city. It's just a wild guess though. One final thing I want to mention is this quote from the PlayStation blog. Not everything will be explained clearly, so it will be up to the most attentive and insightful players to figure out what exactly this place is, who these inhabitants and creatures are, and the story and purpose of this beguiling world in which we are immersed. I really love the idea that the story of Stray will give back to players whatever they put into it. You could breeze through the platforming and enemy encounters, or take your time exploring every nook and cranny and finding out more about the world. If you've made it this far, you're probably super excited for Stray, so I want to give you a few suggestions for other games you could play in the meantime. First is Cloudpunk. This is for the people who want to soak up the sights and sounds of a beautiful cyberpunk city environment. You play as a delivery driver who picks up packages and takes them to different people around the city. There isn't any platforming, and the gameplay is limited to walking and driving, but the atmosphere is so immersive that you don't really need to do much else. If you're more into Stray's gameplay instead of its environment, then Ghost of a Tale is my suggestion for you. It's an action-adventure stealth game where you play as a tiny mouse scampering around a small but charming fantasy world. There's tons of things to collect and secret passages to discover. Definitely worth a look. And that's it from me. If you have any of your own theories or observations that I missed, please leave them in the comments, and then go check this out.